Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lucy Does Makeup. I'm Lucy, and we're going to do some makeup. So, I am really excited about today's episode because I've got a bunch of interesting new things to try, and I've also made sort of a life-changing discovery in the world of makeup. And just as like a little aside, if you're watching this in real time, then you are seeing the new schedule. So I'm going to be posting the first and third weekend of every month from now on. As you can see, I've got a new setup. I moved out of my bathroom and into my art studio. I essentially set up a little vanity for myself in here so that I could have better lighting, better sound quality, hopefully. I got this cool little lapel mic, which I hope is going to really deal with any of my sound issues that I was struggling with in the first couple of videos. Today, like I said, we're going to be trying out a couple of new products. And I will be showing you my life-changing discovery of using primer with eyeshadow. And I want to talk about Harry Potter. And this probably will not be the last time I mention or discuss Harry Potter. So get used to it. There's a reason for that, though. The eyeshadow palette that I'm trying out today has some absolutely perfect Gryffindor colors. Now, disclaimer, I am a Ravenclaw. Proud Ravenclaw. But I've got no hate for Gryffindor. So we're just going to do a little Gryffindor tribute today. So I have gotten my foundation on. I'm using Revlon Color Stay 24 hours for normal dry skin. And I just switched to this because the age defying that I was using got kind of old and was starting to oxidize, and I actually really like the Color Stay. So I was talking about primer. I have discovered that primer is a game changer. So this is no news to anyone probably who's actually legitimately familiar with makeup. I've been doing makeup for a long time, like 17 years, but I never used primer really and never tried it out. So I may have prematurely judged some eyeshadows as being not very blendable or not good pigment because I wasn't using primer. So rookie mistake. I'm still learning how to apply it. As you can see, I'm making like a huge mess here, but eventually I'm going to start using a brush to do this. But because I'm still kind of getting used to it, I try to only add one new process at a time. I'm not really sure how much I should use. A small dot that I've tried hasn't been quite enough. It hasn't seemed to really cover the whole eye area, upper eye area, as well as I would like because I go all the way up to the brow. So I'm sure less is more when you know what you're doing, but this is a learning experience, right? So I have applied this primer, and this one is Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer. I really like it. I'm definitely going to try out some different brands, see how they stack up. This one I like a lot. But I'm not really sure if you were supposed to do setting powder or not on your primer. I've tried it both ways. I like the way the eyeshadow goes onto the primer without the setting powder better, but I find that it creases in my particular eyelids. So I've been putting just like a light coating of powder. And I'm trying this new powder a friend gave to me. It's called Everyday Vacay. It's coconut setting powder. And I do not know how to pronounce this brand. Ciate, London. Wow, it actually does smell like coconut. I want to try this out because I had been using Revlon Photo Ready Translucent, which is pretty decent, but can be a little cakey. So I really like a loose powder, and this has a nice looseness to it that I dumped all over my table. So I'm going to get a pretty heavy load on my brush, especially to put under my eyes. and I'm not going to rub that in right now, because if I get any fallout from this eyeshadow, I can brush it off. Because I've seen some makeup artists who do tutorials who do their eyes first before they do pretty much anything else. And then they add their blush and all of that. So I've got all this extra powder under my eyes. I'm going to try that because I think it'll make it easier to get rid of fallout if there is any. Now I'm just doing a light coating of powder on my eyelids. Now this looks super, super white and over powdery at this second, and that's because I've put a lot on and I haven't worked it in with the brush. So I will do that, and wow, I dumped this everywhere. So I'm going to start out with my eyeshadow. So what we're trying out today, what inspired my Harry Potter theme, which we'll get started on in a minute, is look at this red and yellow. These are such nice Gryffindor colors, this sort of golden yellow, red, and then like a true gold here. Now this is Revolution Makeup London, and it's a new brand. I don't know that it's a new brand overall, but it's a new brand to Target. There was this absolutely amazing display with the bright lights. Target has really tried to rebrand their makeup section to look more like a Sephora or an Ulta, and honestly it's very visually appealing. But they have this big display of the Revolution line. Now these are super pigmented looking in the pan. We'll see how it actually goes. The container feels a little on the cheapy side, but again, you can't really judge a book by its cover in that, because I've gotten some things that were super cheap that are absolutely amazing. So I'm going to go with a Gryffindor theme, the red and the yellow and a little bit of gold. I got some new brushes. I got like a brush kit off of Amazon. So I have been trying out using brushes with eyeshadow a lot more, and I'm loving it. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll talk about some Harry Potter. So I started into Harry Potter the summer before 7th grade. That was, let's see, 1999. In 1999, it was right after Harry Potter had come to the United States, and it was making a big splash. Now, I grew up in the Deep South. So in the Deep South, ooh, they are not cool with witchcraft, even like pretend witchcraft. And so there was a lot of book banning going on with Harry Potter. Wow, this is very pigmented. I always wet my brush or applicator, but wow. Okay, so Makeup Revolution, so far so good. So my grandmother was not into book banning, and so she, sort of being rebellious, was like, well, I'm gonna order these books, because clearly if they're being banned, there's something worth reading here. So she got us the Harry Potter books, and I was hooked from the start. I have this extremely distinct memory of reading it while in the waiting room at my doctor's office, because we had to get hepatitis shots before 7th grade, and I was super freaked out by that. I still do not love shots. I don't know that anybody does, but I was reading that book, and it really, I've always been a bookworm, but this really introduced me to the escapism that books can provide, and man, I was loving it. I was obsessed from the start. So I grew up on Harry Potter. My grandmother pre-ordered every book when they came out. I remember when Goblet of Fire, which is a huge fat book, arrived in the mail, and this is super uneven, and I was just stoked because I knew I had hundreds of pages with Harry and Hermione and even Ron. No, I'm not a Ron fan. It was so immersive. It was so fantastical. I absolutely loved it. And as I've grown up, I have constantly revisited those books. It used to be that I would read them about once a year, starting in the summer, in July, because that's when Harry starts his journey to Hogwarts. He gets his Hogwarts letter in July when he turned 11. And I was 12 when I started reading them, so I really like grew up with Harry. So I always started reading them this summer. And now, since the advent of discovering audiobooks, which are just the world's best thing, I own all of them on Audible. And now I'm going to try using this yellow. I can say that it's not picking up on the brush super well, but that might also be my brush. So I'm going to do the yellow on the inside here. Oh, okay. So it is picking up. It is kind of translucent though. Maybe I'll try a different brush because I don't think that brush is picking up as well as I would like. So, what was I saying? Oh, I revisit them all the time. I, at this point, listen to them at least once a year. And to be honest, usually about twice a year, mostly because at this point, they are like old friends. Harry, Hermione, all of the characters are like old friends to me. And it's sort of comforting and nice to revisit the books. And I always discover something new, think of something new, come up with like fan theories all the time. And these are not colors I would ordinarily do together. So I'm just painting these on. And really, these eyeshadows, I'm going to start blending. These eyeshadows have really nice like paint ability. Maybe I should use a softer brush for that blending. But I'm very impressed with this. This is almost kind of like a phoenix, which I like better than the idea of a Gryffindor. So, the books to me are very, very comforting, nostalgic. I think of my first time reading them, and man, I think most Harry Potter fans kind of have that, I wish I could re-experience the books for the first time again feeling, because that first time discovering the wizarding world, there's just nothing like it. And I know that in a lot of fandoms, there's like that, like the first time you've ever watched Star Wars or, anything like that. So I listen to them a lot of times when I work on painting because I know the book so well that if I'm like in the zone with painting, it's not like I'm going to miss something. As opposed to if I'm listening to a new book, I really want to focus on what I'm hearing. Whereas with Harry Potter, it's almost like hanging out with a friend and we're telling old stories that we've told a million times. I'm going to add some yellow up here. Okay, I am very impressed with this Revolution makeup. Like, I came into it with low expectations, but even if I had come in with bought this at Sephora expectations, I would not be disappointed right now. These are really awesome. I definitely recommend applying with moisture on your brush. So I was doing it dry on this side, and it's bright, but it's kind of faded. But when there's moisture on your brush, this is literally like paint. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm gonna blend that. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a phoenix look here. 100% going for a phoenix look now. I've committed. So, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That's your first book, your first introduction to the wizarding world. And I don't even know. When I was younger, I don't think I even sorted myself into a house the way, we do now. A lot of OG Harry Potter fans are really hardcore about their house. I know I am. And I don't remember ever really identifying with a house until after I had gotten all the way through the series the first time and read through it again. Because I think I was just so caught up in the magic that I didn't even think about that. Man, this is awesome. So I'm building up now, and these really are very buildable. I'm putting more on top, and it's not wiping itself off. Man, I'm impressed. And, it looks just as good in real life as it does on the camera. So, I know that there's like some controversy surrounding J.K. Rowling, and honestly, I've kind of divorced J.K. Rowling from the Harry Potter franchise because she's done so many things to the series, retconning, and a lot of the things I have no problem with. But it kind of seems like she's just trying to get attention, and it's sort of like a child who is acting out, and they need to be ignored. Because, you know, I think celebrities and authors and things have a certain responsibility for how they behave in public because they're in the public eye, and they have to think about how their actions and the things that they say affect others, and they have to take responsibility for that. You can't get mad if you say something that you know is controversial. She knows what she's doing. You can't get mad at when people get upset. Like, it doesn't make any sense for her to be offended and surprised that people are annoyed at her. So now I'm gonna branch out because now I'm committing to this Phoenix. I'm gonna do this orange. An orange eyeshadow, a good orange eyeshadow, is pretty hard to find. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is amazing. I'm gonna go underneath and a little out and around. Hang with me. Remember, I don't have the rest of my face makeup done yet, and I'm gonna get there. Okay. Woo. I'll even it up in a minute. I want to get the rest of my face going. So let's get that extra powder gone. I'm so impressed. I can't believe it. I cannot tell you how much I thought this was going to be meh. So I'm going to add some of my very, very favorite blush, the matte Sailor Moon. What is this one? From the Moon. And that looks like a lot right there, but don't worry, I'm going to be evening it out. Yeah. Sorry, I know I'm all over the place with this discussion of Harry Potter. I guess more I'm talking about my nostalgia towards Harry Potter than anything in the actual story. And maybe I'll actually kind of delve into Harry Potter like as a story in the future. So I've got my blush. I'm going to add some highlighter. I'm using the Dream palette from Anastasia like I almost always do. And I'm going to use Regal. It's sort of a warm red because I think that this will go with our Phoenix theme very nicely. I always like to put some on my forehead because I don't really do anything with contouring, but I do think a little bit of shine around the forehead area is nice. So I've got my facial color. Now I really need eyeshadow or eyeliner because right now it's just a lot going on. So I'm going to use my Ico London Fat Liquid Liner because I really love this. And I'm going to look into my side mirror because it's a little bit easier. So don't mind me. Yeah, so my nostalgia with Harry Potter, you know, I think that a lot of people who didn't grow up with it and who don't really like Harry Potter sometimes can't relate. But, you know, it, like I said, really introduced me to the escapism that books can provide. And even to this day, if I'm super stressed out and I just need to let my mind kind of take a break, listening to the Harry Potter series really does the trick for me. Kind of helps my brain relax. Man, I'm kind of going crazy here with this eyeliner. That's okay. Okay, so as usual, I like to do the liquid eyeliner marker on the top and then the twist up on the bottom. I find it to just be a little easier to navigate. Man, I'm drawing a blank here. yeah, Harry Potter is like the one big fandom that I'm really into. I follow a Harry Potter subreddit. I really like all the Harry Potter memes. And I just want to get it out there too to anyone who's into Harry Potter. I am not a Snape apologist. I know a lot of people have got this sort of like romantic idea of Severus Snape as like a tragic hero who, you know, he lost his love and that's why he's so bitter. But we'll talk about this more in the future. But I think that Severus Snape is a huge bully, and his abusive behavior towards the kids that he's entrusted with is just wrong and not okay at all. So I know that people who watch the movies more than the books tend to really romanticize Snape because he was played by Alan Rickman, who was an absolutely phenomenal actor. And sometimes a phenomenal actor can make a character who is crap seem redeemable. But he was not. He was not. Let's see. I'm going to add a little more color here. Anyway, if you don't watch Harry Potter or read Harry Potter, you're like, who are you talking about? Why are you naming these people? Maybe I'll do a whole video about my feelings about Snape. I really could. I think a lot of people could. We'll do a little flame coming off. I really cannot get over how awesome this turned out to be. I thought this was going to be horrible. I really thought it was going to be disappointing. I'm disappointed by not how disappointing it is. All right. This eyeshadow went in a completely different direction than I thought it would in terms of my reaction and also in terms of what I was going to do. I was not going to go for a fiery phoenix situation, but here we are. So, what are your feelings on Harry Potter? I know some people are just like, meh, it's not for me. You're not into like magic and wizards. And then some people are just really, really into it, like me. You know, and then some people just don't care at all. And some people vehemently hate it for some reason. And I think sometimes that's just people wanting to be people. So, this went in an interesting direction. But here is our magical look. And like I said, I am a proud Ravenclaw. So I'm mixing my metaphors a little bit with these Gryffindor colors. But you know what? It's all good. So, as they say, wit beyond measure is man's greatest treasure. And I hope you enjoyed this makeup tutorial. Makeup Revolution, you get 1 OWL, Ordinary Wizarding Level. Amazing. Have a great day.